Hey everyone, Steph here with River and TAO. I've decided to practice with both of my dogs today, and we will be breaking down sun salutations, working on upward facing dog for this practice. So you'll want to have your yoga mat, a spot for your dog to lay down, say their bed or a little place. You may want to have your dog with a leash and collar on as well to help you as you practice, and maybe a few of your dog's favorite treats, just a few, as we begin. If you're starting with a dog that is a puppy or has lots of energy, or you've never done anything like this before, you may want a special bone or chew that your dog can work on as you settle in for our practice. So let's get started. So come to your mat. Ask your dog to lay down next to you on their mat. You can give your dog a couple of treats for doing that. And you may find that your dog is excited by treats, so you may just give them a couple and leave it at that, right? For other dogs, it's helpful to use a little bit as you're practicing. The idea is that we start to find our seat, settle in, breathe, become calmer, and our dogs mirror that. So that's what we'll be working on in this practice as we dive into our sun salutations and look at our upward dog. So as we're moving, I also want you to think about your transitions, moving nice and slow. Our dogs will also mirror that as we move through our practice, moving thoughtfully, slowly. Our dogs will also probably watch us as we do that. If we move quickly, they'll probably spring up from their down because our dogs are watching us so close. So thinking about that as you practice as well. If your dog gets up during your practice, just ask your dog to lay down, right? This isn't about obedience or holding a perfect down stay. It's about you and your dog working together to match where your energy is in space. So if either of my dogs are to get up, I'm just going to ask them to lay down. All right. Come to your comfortable seat. Move around a little bit and feel yourself start to anchor down into your seat. Feel everything that's touching the ground connected, right? Connected to your mat and to the floor or ground beneath you. And then start to actively press down. So whatever's touching, press that down. And then start to grow taller in your spine. Yeah, getting that little bit of a lift. That's great. Draw your shoulders back. Open your heart up here. And then think about lifting even through the top of your head. So the top of your head reaches up towards your ceiling. Good. Finding that length in your spine. We'll take 3 deep breaths together here. So take a big breath in and let it out. Let's do that again. Big inhale. Fill your body up and let it go. Good. One more just like that. Big breath in. And let it out. Good. Now gently close your mouth and breathe in and out through your nose, finding a deep rhythm to your breath. So slowing your breath way down and just focusing on that breath coming in and out as you sit here. Starting to actively slow ourselves down, right? Giving our dog that signal that they're going to slow down too. And if this is your first time practicing, your dog may be walking all over your mat, stepping on you, moving about your space. So you're just going to ask your dog to lay down. As you begin to do this more and more, your dogs will be conditioned as you roll out your mat and get them situated beside you. They'll start to actually fall asleep. So both of my guys here, when I roll out the mat, it takes them a couple moments and then they're like, we're going to be here for a while. We might as well take a nap. So you'll get there as well with continued practice. So breathing in deeply, really slowing yourself down here. Keeping your spine nice and tall, making so much room for your breath to move. And then we're going to dive right into our flow practice here. So thinking about this transition, we're going to shift forward and come into downward dog to start. So shifting through table, bringing your hands forward. You may remind your dog to stay if your dog's wondering what you're doing. And shifting forward, coming into tabletop. Walking back on your mat. And then bringing your knees right under your hips, your hands right underneath your shoulders. Starting to press down, again, feeling that connection in your mat. We'll take one breath here in and out. Continuing your breath in and out through your nose, just as we started here. Walk your hands forward about 6 inches with each hand. Curl your toes under and then press your hips up. Find downward facing dog. We visited this when we broke down down dog in our sun salutations. So you can revisit your down dog. A little rock from side to side. Letting your body warm up a little bit here. Continuing that steady breath. Really important here for your practice to support your body with your breath, but also giving your dog that signal to really slow down as well. And then come to stillness in your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. See if you can send your hips up a little bit higher. Press into your hands. Make extra room all through your arms, right? So feel that stretch from your hands through your arms, into your rib cage, out through your hips. Another breath in. And let it go. Hips go high. Good. Continuing with our flow. Really smooth here. Nice and slow. Walk your feet to your hands. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Let your head drop down. Let's take a halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins. Lengthen your spine. Breathe in as you do this. And then as you drop down, let your breath exhale out. Grounding down into your feet. Engage your core here. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Come all the way up to standing. Bring your arms up over your head. Good, and then dive down. Forward fold. Coming right into our sun salutation flow. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold down. Rise tall, reach up. Breath moving in and out. Dive down. Inhale, find your halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold, warming your body up. Inhale, reach tall. Maybe your palms come together at the top. A little lift, a little back bend. Maybe your gaze goes up. Take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, drop down, forward fold. Adding on, halfway lift, long spine. And then step forward or back, depending on where you're at. And we're going to both meet in our high plank. You can have your knees up here or your knees down. Either way, your choice. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Let the tops of your feet connect to your mat. Press into your hands. Lift up, cobra or upward facing dog. Curl your toes under. Press back, downward facing dog. One breath here. In and out. Good. Making a little bit of a variation to our flow here. So we're going to come right into focusing on up dog. So shift forward again to your high plank. There's always a little core sprinkled in our TAO dog practice. Then lower yourself all the way down to your mat. Good. Tops of your feet can press into your mat. So do that. And then your hands are right underneath your shoulders. So let's work some of our alignment here in our cobra or up dog. So you have options here as you come into finding up dog. If you're brand new to the practice, cobra can feel really nice and getting that lift, getting that feeling. And then as your practice grows, finding up dog as your flexibility increases and you feel like you can find more of that. So we're going to grow from a baby cobra to cobra all the way up to our up dog today in this practice, and you choose what works best for you. So starting off in our baby or low cobra, take your legs and zipper them together. So bring your inner thighs so that they're touching and feel that. Squeeze your legs together, allowing your lower half to become your foundation. Tops of your feet are pressing into the mat. And then right here, start to press down into your mat. So you're going to feel your hips and your thighs squeezing and pressing down. Automatically, you'll feel your front body start to lift. So let's use that. Take your hands right underneath your shoulders. Draw your elbows so they're hugging your rib cage. And then press down into your hips. And then start to engage your upper back and lift up. So you're in low cobra here. Good. Using your back body to support you. You're going to feel the muscles along your spine really working. So use your breath in and out. Good. Let's take another breath in. And then exhale, lower down. You can turn your head to one side. Let your hands come out. Let's take one breath here. In and out. Checking on your dog, seeing where your dog is at in your space. If your dog's moving around, you may ask your dog to lay down. If your dog is laying beside you, you might glance over, and I don't even say anything, because sometimes if we say good, our dogs get excited and pop up. So if your dog's just resting and relaxing, you can just glance over and continue your practice. Let's grow our cobras here. So gluing your bottom half down. Again, legs come together. Your legs are super active here. You're pressing into the tops of your feet. And then feel your back body engage here. So you're going to feel the muscles along your spine. And then lift your heart. You're barely pressing into your hands. Maybe you can even lift your hands up for a second. Yeah. And then put your hands back down. We're going to grow it a little bit here. So press into your hands. Elbows keep hugging into your rib cage. Gaze can be out in front of you and lift up a bit more. Maybe it's like an inch or maybe it's 6 inches. Good. Take a breath in. Stay for your exhale. Another big inhale. And then exhale, lower down. This time we'll press up, transitioning through our high plank. Back to downward facing dog. Beautiful release for your spine and your lower back here. Find your down dog, and then together we'll take one big round of breath. Breathe in and out. Good. And then walk your feet to your hands, forward fold on your mat. Halfway lift, long spine, fold down. Inhale, rise tall, reach up, lift. Grow really tall here, maybe a little back bend. And then forward fold, drop down. Inhale, halfway lift. And then walk it out, high plank. Find your high plank here. Good, everything's super active. And then we're gonna lower down slowly for this one. So lowering down for 3, 2, and then land. Good. Tops of your feet connect to your mat. Feel your lower body connect. Hands come underneath your shoulders. And inviting in your cobra. So let's take a breath in. And then press down, lift up. You can exhale as you come up. Good. Growing as tall as feels right in your body. So you can start with low cobra, come midway, or maybe even raising up a bit more. Good. And then breathe in and out. And then press into your hands here. Draw your heart forward. Yeah, pulling yourself forward. One breath together. In and out. Good. One last inhale. Pull your hands. So grab onto your mat like you're pressing down pretty hard there. Pull yourself forward. Awesome. And then let yourself come completely down. Turn your head to one side and let your body rest here. 2 rounds of breath in and out. Be glancing over at your dog, seeing where your dog is at, what they're doing. All right, and then bringing your hands underneath, curl your toes under, press yourself up, downward facing dog. Take a little movement in your down dog. Yeah, a little sway of your hips. You can bend one knee and straighten the other. Little movement here. And we're going to shift forward for our up dog. So shifting forward into high plank. Good, and then lower all the way down. The tops of your feet are going to come in, using your lower half to ground down. Bring your hands right underneath your shoulders. River's got a few words for us there. Hands underneath your shoulders. For up dog, you may want to walk your hands in a little bit. So before, for cobra and you lower cobra and up cobra, I have my hands a little forward. I'm going to scoot my hands back a little bit, so a little further underneath for up dog. Or lay down. Good boy. Underneath here. And then you're going to start to lift yourself up. If you feel ready for up dog here, you're going to press into your hands, and then you're going to press into the tops of your feet, and you're going to start to lift, your thighs off. And notice as you do that, your elbows are going to want to lock a little bit here. So you can bring a little micro bend, keep drawing them into your rib cage. A lot of power here, using a lot of energy to lift up. Breathe in and out. Lower your lower half down, lower your upper half. Turn your head to one side and rest. In between, really letting yourself relax. You can let your heels turn out away, letting your thighs roll open and your shins kind of roll open as well. Letting your palms face up. Let your head rest on your mat. We'll do that one more time. Setting up for full up dog. If your practice is cobra, coming into cobra. Pressing into your hands. Coming up. And then maybe you stay right there. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, draw your elbows in. If you want lift off, press into the tops of your feet, lift up. Breathe in. One breath together here. In and out. And then lower yourself back down. Curl your toes under. Press up through your high plank. Downward facing dog. One breath here. In and out. And then this time walk your hands to your feet. Forward fold. You're at the back of your mat. We're going to flow through this 2 times. So let's take a halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise tall. Reach up. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then walk out to your high plank. Flowing through, your choice, cobra or up dog. Lower yourself down. Right away, inhale, come up. Maybe you start in a cobra. Good, and then curl your toes under, press back to down dog. So you can start in cobra there and then grow into your up dog. Breathe in and out. Walk your hands to your feet, back of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Rise tall, come on up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Walk out, high plank. Last time flowing through. Lower all the way. Find whichever you'd like, up dog or cobra. Curl your toes under, downward facing dog. One breath here. Let it out. And then lowering your knees and finding your comfortable seat. Shifting back and coming to stillness. Gently close your mouth, breathe in and out through your nose. Notice the changes in your body from the beginning of our practice. Notice your heart rate. Maybe your heart rate has picked up here. And I want you to actively slow your breath down. Right? And if your heart is beating pretty quickly here because of our flow, it may feel a little bit challenging to slow that breath down. Right? So we'll take a few moments here to settle back into stillness before we move into calm touch with our dogs. Breathing in and exhaling out. Keeping your spine nice and tall so you can make so much room for your breath. Breathe in, feel your body lift, and then really slow down your exhale. Continuing to breathe here. So as we'll move into calm touch, we want to find this element of stillness before we put our hands on our dogs. That's what I love about TAO dog practice is we will have a flow. We'll really get into our yoga. Sometimes we forget our dog's laying next to us because we're so focused on what we're doing, and that's all part of it. But really there is this idea of transitions in mindfulness. So before we transition to putting our hands on our dogs, even though we were flowing and moving and our energy is up and our heart rate is picked up, we're going to consciously slow ourselves back down. So as we put our hands on our dogs, that's the message we're sending our dogs, is this calm connection that we want to build with them. So getting to this space before we do that. And as we move into calm touch, you have a couple of options here. So I'm going to work with River, who has decided he's going to lay a little bit away from me. You can see the leash is still here. So I like to have a leash on him. He's the younger of my two dogs, and it helps me form that as a cue for him. So that becomes when I lift up the leash and call him over, he knows to come. TAO is taking a snooze on the bed behind me, so I'm going to let her sleep today and working with him. So you have a couple of options. Today I'm going to ask River to come over and be really close to me. If your dog is really relaxed and sleeping, you may want to slowly, again thinking about that transition, nice and slow, move over to your dog so your dog is right next to you. So you want to be really close to your dog for this because you did all this beautiful yoga to open up your body and stretch and lengthen your spine. If they're too far, you're going to find you're reaching. It can actually compromise your body and start to hurt your back. So having your dog nice and close is really important. And your choice, if your dog is sleeping, it's kind of nice just to say, hey, I'm going to come join you so that they don't pop up or get too excited. So I'm going to see how this goes with River. River, come here. Come here, bud. He's laying there. He doesn't want to get up. Come on, buddy. River, come on. Let's go. Over here. Sometimes your dog is so calm they don't want to get up. Good. Come on, bud. So I'm going to help him a little bit. Come on, River. If I just stand up, you can see he just springs right up. So he needed a little bit of extra. Come here, bud. Come here. He wants to lay just there. Come on. Come on, bud. Come on, River. So I want him a little bit closer just so everybody can see River while we're doing this. He wants to lay just outside of your view. Good boy. So he was sleeping and now his energy's up a little bit because I called him. All right. So starting to work with your dog in calm touch, they can be laying down, they can be standing, or sitting. So it's fine. I love having a leash on River because, again, it's a cue and a signal to him that we're going to be working together. And it allows me to pick up the leash and kind of call him like I did, and he knows to follow that. So if you want to practice dog yoga in our group classes or outside of your home with your dog, this is where to teach it and to condition this is right while you practice inside. So then you can go anywhere with your dog. Right. So we're going to start with our dogs being nice and close. So River maybe naturally likes to be a little bit further, so your dog may be a little further from you. Getting real close, sitting up, my dog. And then you're going to start, I'm just going to hold on to his leash. And then if your dog is moving around, you can keep holding your leash. If not, you can just let it hang out there. I'm going to start with just touching your dog's collar. And then with your free hand, you're going to place your hand right behind your dog's head. Pause there for a moment, just behind your dog's ears. And then in slow motion, you go all the way down your dog's spine until you reach the base of your dog's tail. You'll pause there and release. And you can release both hands. If your dog is standing or moving around, you can just hold on to your leash so your dog can't go too far, right? You're setting a little bit of a limitation or a limit on your dog so that they can't freely choose all the places they want to go and they stay right with you. Let's do that again. Let's move you in a little closer, River. Good boy. Hi, bud. Moving him a little closer. Good. So placing a hand right behind your dog's ears. Slow motion, go all the way down your dog's spine. till you reach the base of your dog's tail. Good. And release. So starting right here with your dog, we'll do that one more time. Bring your hand right behind your dog's ears, traveling all the way down nice and slow. Starting here, once your dog is calm, relaxed, laying down, we move on. So we're going to add on a little bit for this practice today. So again, stopping there if that's where your dog is at, but adding on, we're going to move our hands down our dog's spine to their shoulder to their elbow, and then down our dog's spine to your dog's hip, down to our dog's knee. When we're moving slow and calmly, like we are, we're building trust with our dogs. So River here has practiced dog yoga with me a bunch. River has a ton of energy. We actually train in sports, so he likes to be fast and animated, so he has all those outlets, but we also practice this to strengthen our relationship and help to bring an element of calm to those high energy and kind of high drive activities that he loves to do. So I don't expect him to be like this all the time, but it's really important for us to find this, whether we're doing yoga or we're doing these high intense activities. If any of you have ever taken your dog, even just to an obedience class, you're nervous when you first go because you're not sure how it's going to go. Then if you've competed in agility or anything else, we bring our own element of our own nervousness, right, and what we show up as. And our dogs can feel that, read that, sense that, smell that. So this is such a beautiful way to be able to establish this with your dog and then take it to other aspects of your life. So this element of calm connection is something that I bring into River's other activities, and it actually really helps to support him so he doesn't get too excited because that's a little too much for him, but it strengthens our relationship and it can strengthen your relationship with your dog. Again, thinking about how we show up. We talked about breathing and becoming really calm here before we put our hands on our dogs. Same thing, before you're nervous and you step into a situation with your dog, taking that moment, maybe it's a few breaths, maybe it's just having that awareness of where you're at before you step into a space and start working with your dog. So let's add on a little bit. One hand starts the same way each time because we're conditioning this behavior. One hand behind your dog's ears, and then go down and find your dog's shoulder that's the most available. Bringing your hand all the way down to your dog's elbow, pausing there, and releasing. If your dog starts to pull away, you want to stop just before then. So you want to go only as far as your dog accepts. Over time, you go further and further and build on, and we'll do that together. But here, you want to just start going to where they'll accept. You're building that trust, and then you just calmly release your hand. All right. Let's work on our dog's hip. So one hand behind your dog's ears, going all the way down your dog's back. Good. Finding your dog's hip that's the most available to you, and then bringing your hand down. Really getting that feedback from your dog. If your dog moves at all or pulls back, and then just pause and slowly release your hand. Good. So taking into account your dog's feedback. Maybe as you've done this, your dog is really excited. That's just what your dog does. Maybe your dog was really pumped about it, turned over on their side, rolled over on their back, and you were working on their belly. So every dog's a little bit different. Every dog also likes to have a certain level of distance from you. So some of our dogs naturally, like River likes to lay a little further than Tao might. So I had to invite him over and kind of let him know, hey, we're going to be working together now. So playing with your dog, they're each an individual, and building this. So that will wrap up our practice together. So focusing on your yoga practice, your sun salutations, thinking about upward facing dog, really lifting and finding a little bit more detail there, and then moving into calm touch with your dog and where you can go with that. So our next sun salutation practice will focus on our high plank or push-up position, building a little more core strength there and exploring how to kind of find a little more depth in that pose. So I look forward to practicing that with all of you. Everyone have a fabulous day, and we'll see you back here real soon.